Good morning. Zach is getting situated as he does. He's getting his water. What are you doing in the microwave? Heating up his coffee. You know, he's got to get situated. We always tease him a little bit when we watch a movie because he has to get.
Ready?
I don't even know what you do. It's like
Comfortable.
Yeah, he like changes his clothes and grabs a blanket and then gets like 5 drinks. So he has like his water, maybe like a bubbly water of some kind.
You have to understand.
Maybe like a liquid aminos of some kind, and then
I was actually gonna grab some.
A frozen Jello, and then popcorn on deck. That's how Zach grabs it.
You have to understand that my greatest need.
It's so good.
My greatest desire is to be comfortable.
It's true.
Satisfied.
It's true. Okay, let me just
get ready.
Nope, there's nothing to get ready. There's one thing that I have to do.
How's everyone doing today? Give us a comment if you have a juicy topic we can debate. Sierra and I do debate sometimes.
Well, that's how you learn, I feel.
Yeah, no, but that's how anyone learns. But
I don't learn that way.
You don't learn by discussing.
I don't learn by making people.
I don't make people feel a certain way.
Yeah, you do.
I just tell them that they're stupid and wrong. That's not. What's wrong with that?
What's wrong with that?
Come on, bring people together. No, but how you learn is like you give me one situation in life where you learn, grow, expand without tension. Exactly. I got boom.
Yeah, but that has nothing to do with how I learn.
No, I know.
Learning. Okay, wait. This is a good distinction.
No, it is.
Learning and growing, not the same thing. You can learn and know a whole freaking lot and not grow an inch.
That's
so
true. Yeah.
Boom.
No, but you but can't you learn something? I guess you jam the new information in, right? But like are you not replacing, which is by definition like
jamming new information in does not mean replacing information.
Knowledge is not wisdom, I understand. Well, does wisdom fall into the same like atmosphere as growth?
Well, yeah, I don't think you have any wisdom unless you've done a little growing.
Yeah, well, that's an interesting distinction as well. Like knowledge, being smart, because like I would say this is like an aggressive statement because I've worked in the corporate world. I've worked in the Fortune 1000 world. Some of the smartest people I know, the experts, financially, technology-wise, are some of the dumbest people.
I was just gonna say
No, that sounds rude. No, that sounds rude. I take it back.
What he means to say is they're not the wisest people you know.
Well, yes, yeah. Well, I've takes one to know one. Like pride comes before the fall, and I think so. For me, I've sometimes the level of arrogance.
Maybe recently some people have fallen.
Yeah,
because they're
not all.
prideful in their knowledge.
I'm generalizing, but like I think it's because I think what it is it's because when you know and you're an expert in your field, it's the anesthesia to growth. And I think so. Yep. You get to a point where you don't need to bother.
Right. I think when you stop growing, it doesn't even matter the field. It doesn't matter your level of whatever. What? I
guess I filled the whole thing. It's going to be a really weak coffee.
Is that the second that you're done growing or listening and not being unafraid to try something new or not hear information is when you fall a little bit. And that happened just recently. It's happened. Yeah.
When did it happen?
Well, I'm not going to name names on live television, but there has been a little pride that's gotten in the way and people refused to not be the expert for a moment, and then started hurting a little bit and got a little worried and a little nervous.
Yeah.
So it's worth it to always be like open to like learning and understanding. It's also okay too to know if there's like a difference between knowing if information is for you and like going to serve you versus like the resistance of no, I just don't want to hear that because that's going to force me to grow. Right?
Yeah.
Like what we do as coaches or help, there's certain things that will definitely like expand our growth, which helps our clients in turn do that as well. And there's also things where people are like, oh, you should really look at this. And we're like, oh, that actually goes against our like fundamental values of what it is that we do. So no, that information's not for me. Versus, oh, you should look at this. Then this may really help your clients. And if it aligns with like our values and what we help people do and create in their lives, then it's like, yeah, I could go there as well. And then like there is a distinction, I think, between like knowing the difference between.
Well, I think what it popped up for me, I think when you say that is like when to say no. When to say no to things.
Yeah, when to say no to things. Sorry, guys. I just want to be sure, like, we don't know what we're doing, and I don't know how to see...
Day 3.
Day 3 what?
Day 3 of hacking together our live. Well, we're on OneStream, so the screen we're looking at, we can't really tell.
Can't see, like, right now?
It's not live. It's okay.
No, it is. It is. It's just, like, for whatever, it says Instagram right here, but it's...
Okay.
I don't know, guys.
Okay.
I don't know.
That's what I'm saying. It'd be nice if people, if they liked or comment, just like let us know it's coming through. Because we're trying to make it work. And once it works, great. We can. It's kind of like.
Oh, it's here but not here for some reason. So
okay. It's kind of like when you're trying to when you're trying to drive a race car, it doesn't really matter how good your skills are if your car's not running properly. Yeah. And technology is the same way. It's like it doesn't really matter.
Sorry.
Oh no, doesn't really matter. But
see, this is what I mean by like you got to be in the middle. There you go.
Well, it's farther away. There like that.
So we'll see. Well, I don't know, friends. I can see some though. I can see some. Okay. I'll just say hi, and then we'll be like, oh, the comments look. So yeah, so did you have a question for me? You said you wanted to talk to me today. You made it sound like I was...
well, I was talking about, I was using the Marco Polo application for video conversations.
Do you use Marco Polo?
With my family, and I was just having a good conversation, and I was sharing with them like, just like when to like listen to that voice, you know. And for us, you know, we're have the strong faith, so we try to listen to God, and I think it's a really weird situation when you make a decision in your life where like on paper, how many things that on paper look good or look bad, and like you do something like there's a lot of things that look good on paper that are horrible ideas, and there's a lot of things that look horrible on paper that are the best things ever. And I was sharing with my mom that and my sister, like, wow, like this is like what are we doing, you know, like what are we this everything statistically says you're going the wrong way. But then
and you.
Yeah. But then at the same time, how many times have you heard someone that, whether it be like an inspirational leader, what our measure for success is, because everyone's measure for success is different based off of their value system. You look at somebody, and how many times have you heard somebody say like, oh my God, everything was going wrong. What were we thinking? Like, this is the dumbest time to do blank, but it ended up being like the biggest blessing of our lives. And just like stepping out of the boat, and like it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make sense to burn the ships, you know, logically speaking. But that's sometimes exactly what you have to do to break through. And I bring the topic up mainly to share it and invite you into the conversation, because when I say you, I looked at the green dot, and you of like areas that need to like to be kind of cut off. But then we were talking about this, and then I'll shut up. Then I was telling Kaylee, I was like, you know what though, like I would rather have someone.
Don't cover your mouth.
Sorry, I would rather have. This is how I think. I would rather have. It's better to be like, look, I want that, but I'm not willing to do the actions to get what I want for now. And like that sounds like kind of bad, but it's just frustrating, because I feel like I catch myself almost having like my own upper limit.
That isn't upper limit.
Yeah, it gets different for anybody. Like sometimes it's frustrating when you hear somebody say something that they want really, really bad, and then you say, well, you know, I can help you out, and if you want to get out of that, oh no thanks. But then they keep talking about it. And it's frustrating because like you care about someone and you want someone to hear your heart, but it's like, ugh. And like we all have it. So it's not like we're immune either. But it's just it's a noble inquiry to talk about. Like things that you say you want, but because you don't like them, we're really good at enrolling and making sure everybody is on our story page of why we can't do something.
Yes, like people have an extreme attachment to the past, be it something positive or something negative or something that you like or that you don't like. I used to have like chronic migraines and inflammation. And I was also very committed to that being a consistent part of my story that impacted my life. And therefore, I didn't have to do a lot of things because of it. Mm-hmm. And it took a very long time to realize, like, why do I keep doing everything I can to keep those parts of me in place? And part of it was because I didn't know myself without those things, even though that they were painful. And you didn't either. I mean, just this last year, just a few months ago, you were like, this is so crazy. I just don't know you as a person who like wants to go backpacking or wants to go hiking because you've never wanted to do that before. And the truth is I've always wanted to do that, but I was protecting my past self as I had known her of, well, she can't because she is going to get a flare up and she's going to be inflamed and she's going to have a migraine and it's going to freaking suck. So, and I would protect that. So you didn't even know me as somebody who wanted to do those things, but I didn't know myself that way either, even though it was present for me. We get like super attached to those things in our past and we protect them and we hold on and that's the thing too, is they hold on to you. Well, that's like your upper limit. Like the second you think, I don't have any migraines anymore, I don't have any headaches anymore, it's been 2 weeks, then it's like
well, that reminds me of the story that Lon shared with us. Why don't you come back, Luke? I feel like you're just like a foot in front of me. That way we can stare at each other in the eyes. Sometimes I forget we're live sometimes.
I don't know what that was supposed to mean. I don't know where you were going with that.
There was a story in a workshop. Lon shared that they were at this kind of dinner banquet, and they noticed that there was a group of people that were a bunch of couples, a bunch of friends, maybe going on a trip. They were older, maybe, I don't know, when I say older, maybe like young retirement age. And they were all sitting around, and then they noticed, they would see him around the resort, and then they noticed during dinner time that there was all the women at one table and all the men at another table. And just, being in the relationship realm that we're all in, Lon and Sandy, they were curious. They looked over, and I think Lon came up and said, hey, like, he asked one of the gentlemen sitting at the table with all the other gentlemen, and he asked him, hey, I couldn't help but notice that like, all the men are at this table and all the women are at that table, which is fine. Sometimes it's great to have that brotherly time. But then the guy said back to him, he's like, and I probably won't say it perfectly, but he said, do you think there's anything that my wife's going to tell me that I haven't already heard before? And it was kind of said playfully, but wow, like it was this amazing realization that occurred to him, but also worthwhile to hear the story, because it's like, isn't it interesting how we really do live that way sometimes?
Yeah, you may not say something like that out loud, but if you're experiencing
feeling stuck
or feeling like a roommate, chances are that you are living something like that. Like resisting, asking for something, needing something, requesting something in a way that you haven't actually done before, without the maybe passive aggressiveness or snottiness or short fuseness or whatever, that we do live that way sometimes. And it doesn't even necessarily need to be with like a spouse or anything. I mean, it could be with a coworker, with kids, and it stops us in our tracks of discovering newly with somebody. And it's a hard place to be. We've definitely been in that place before, so much so that then we just started living separate lives, living together. Yeah. And so, because it's tempting. And one of the reasons why it's tempting is because you're very attached to knowing your partner and the past relationship, and you're very attached to your past and how you've been seen. So you go this way, they go that way, and then before you know it, you have that experience of like, I don't even know you anymore. And it's not that I don't even know you anymore. It's, if we're really honest, it's, I chose not to know you anymore. I chose not to know who you are right now. And it happens slowly, and it seeps in, and it's tempting. It's so tempting to disengage that way. Yeah.
I don't know how we got onto that topic.
I don't know how we got so depressed.
I wish
to hear that today.
I do wish we had a wider screen, because I want to like sit in front of you and talk to you this way.
I know.
I feel like it's like I'm like staring at your face. Like
you also
this.
hit the table, and we're making a mistake. Don't worry, we're getting a new setup. We're just
So what are we working on? We're really excited because we have guys. We got a really cool 4K camera that is good for like YouTube, things like that. But then it didn't even turn on. So
yeah, it was kind of a bummer.
We bought a new one that was actually a refurbished one, sneaky. And then so we ordered another one that should be coming today, which we're excited about. And then we'll kick that off. And I think it'll evolve, and kind of we'll turn. I mean, I'm excited about it, but a little nervous about starting as well. But it's a season for change, and you can feel it in the air.
Yeah, I think everybody can feel it in the air, right? Yeah. I mean, I'm sure something's happened where you're like, things are different. It's like, things are different. And I'm, and it's hard to welcome the new things, or the new temperature of the room.
Scoot back a little bit more.
Why do you keep having me scoot back? The people won't be able to hear.
I can hear just fine.
You can hear. You're in the room.
They're in the room with us.
True. So yeah, I think I can get rid of that. Oh, there you go. So yeah, and like Zach this week is his first week of working for himself.
This is my first week?
This is your first full week like at home without like being on vacation.
Oh.
We've only been gone.
Oh, I was like, what are you talking about? Yeah.
Yeah.
I wouldn't call that vacation, but it was
But it's your first like normal week at home, working at home.
I cannot believe that. Are you serious?
Yeah.
Wow.
Because we got back last Wednesday.
It's the 21st, 22nd today.
So how does it feel, Mr. Batson? What's hard about it?
What's hard about it? I think what's hard about it is I'm so used to like, well, when you're planting seeds, and so I was software sales. It's all about like connecting with clients, following up with prospects. But the thing is, I've been very spoiled, and I realized I think you can't really grow. Like I would say, running your own business, whether it be leaving the corporate pyramid and then going into your business for yourself, you can't really grow anywhere else as much as you can in this realm, because I think you're forced to actually show up every single day or everything dies. Like I've been so spoiled working for like companies where marketing just buys your leads, or they hand you a list of 1,000 accounts, or
which I suppose you could do, but I think that's
or
gross.
They have like $100 million in funding. It's not gross. It's just a different business model. No, I mean that's just
with what we do it with relationship. I'm not going to buy leads.
Yeah, and so it's just you realize that there's always something in front of you can kind of pluck at, and so I think there's this natural demand for innovation and kind of like searching for ways to connect and build. But it's challenging. And it's like you sit there and you're like, what is going to be, how do you produce income producing activities in a way that is pure hearted? And I think you have to get away from, it's funny because in the business world, it's like, it's all about money, and they'll say it's not, but like it is. And that's okay. So how do you align the two where you provide value to people, but you also trust the process and when you're trying to grow oak trees, you can't dig up the seed all the time. So for me, I struggle with that sometimes. I just feel like I'm not doing enough, I'm not doing enough. And you could always do more, but I think
that's like your life.
Well, I also am a natural people pleaser. It's something that is it's good.
He feels very guilty if the kids are sitting doing nothing.
Yeah. But with other people too, I really want people to hear what really I think hurts the most is when someone misreads my heart. Oh, you're just trying to like sell me something. And I've been told that before. Like, oh, you're a sales guy. You're just trying to like, You're just trying to sell me something.
And you're like, that's not who I am.
And I'm like, that's actually not who I am.
Yeah.
And it's like, and I was talking to my sister about this earlier as well. It's tough when it's like, oh my gosh, guys, and this is how it feels like.
Wait, hang on.
Uh-oh.
No, you keep talking.
School bus?
It's so cute, you guys. This little bus comes in front of our neighbor's
See,
house.
without the camera, you can turn it around.
No, because then I'm showing the neighbor's
It's
kid
like-
and
it's
like
like
her
a
bus
cute-
number. That's weird. That's weird. Then we get like a stalker.
Oh yeah, don't
It's
do
like
that.
this tiny little bus, and then he's like, I think he's only like 3 years old, and he runs out with his little backpack, and he can barely get on the bus himself.
Where's he
cute.
going, by the way? Our kids never got
Have
picked
no
up.
idea. I have no idea.
Just-
But it's adorable. Okay. So.
Yeah, it's like a little like
Okay, keep
Lego
going.
school bus.
A
What was it?
Lego school bus.
What's like a little baby school bus?
Yeah, it's a little baby bus.
It's like a van.
It's so cool.
What was I saying?
I don't know. I told you to keep talking so you wouldn't forget.
Oh, so it's like kind of like, hey guys, you're not. Let's say I know you love hiking. This is what it feels like sometimes. And this is the challenge when you go into like transact, because people say, well, I don't understand what you guys are doing. What do you guys like? How do you like? Even like my mom was like, how do you make money on Facebook? And I'm like, well, Facebook, we don't make money on Facebook. You this is how you connect with people. Like it's a relationship. It's about building a bridge and lifting people up, so they want to take that right next step in their life. And like our product is a better life. Like our product is the best version of you. Like that is our product. Our product is allowing you to have something. And it's hard because that's what I struggled with. You asked. And I was like, imagine if you had like a waterfall. So I don't know. Let me use this analogy on you. Sierra, I'll talk to you. It's like, hey, I have this this waterfall. It's like, oh my gosh, I went to it, and the mist on my face, it was like I've been to like 1,000 waterfalls, and like this waterfall, it was the best thing I've ever seen. Like I was like, I can't even explain it. It gave me it like renewed my entire faith in hiking. I felt like alive, full of vitality. And someone's like, oh, I've already seen a waterfall. It's like, no, I have too. Like this waterfall, like it's nothing like I've ever seen before. It's tough because like you want to be able to inspire someone, but just having faith that people are moving at their pace, but also just being patient with it. Like, and I don't know. That's why it's like I struggle with that sometimes. And like I don't know. You've been coaching and helping people for a lot of years, and like I don't know. Doesn't it like? How do you feel?
I don't hear a question.
It's not really a question, I guess. It's just it's on my mind a lot because like you want to come across. You want to be pure hearted, and you want to be. I just. It's something that I'm still growing in, is being able to make that connection in a way that is meaningful too, and inspirational, but also authentic. Because it's like you're kind of growing with it, and I just that's not really a question. It's just that's just what it's like for me in the first week.
Can I say what I think you're experiencing?
Yeah.
I think what you're experiencing is people, like we were talking about attachment, and like attachment to how you know somebody, attachment to the past, attachment to whatever. Sorry, my alarm's keep going off.
Where are those alarms?
It's my Google alarm. It's telling me to get to work.
Get to work. Speaking of.
I think what you're experiencing is people's attachment to how they know you as a salesperson, as someone who's very seasoned and is very, very, very good at a sales cycle, and people's attachment to knowing you that way and refusing to learn you in a new way of, hey, I'm just a guy and I'm actually super authentic and I'm a great dad and I have a healthy life and I actually have really transformed over the last decade, and I'd love for you to get to know me this way. And I think what you experience, and that experience of like self-doubt, is the experience of others' attachment to knowing you that way. And why, as people, and why this is great, because why it's really important to know that we all have it is because someone else's attachment to knowing you a certain way impacts how they react, how they respond, how they hear. There's like the already always listening of how you're landing. And I think as people, when we're trying to step into something new, if somebody's really attached to knowing us a certain way, how we may experience that is doubt. Am I doing the right thing? Is my heart in the right place? And I'm gonna be bold and say, yeah, it probably is. And if you're really that way and you keep showing up that way consistently, because that is really where your heart is, and that is what you're creating in your life now, that people will slowly detach from that knowing of you.
Okay.
And that doubt will slowly turn into like, screw that. This is who I am. Like, I am this way. But at the beginning, when you're trying something new, how people treat you is really tempting to feel as doubt.
See, this is why you get into relationship, because you reflect your experience of me, which seems even more accurate than the way I can describe myself, because I'm up to describing myself how I think people see me, or how I want people to see me, versus I think you just say it how you see me from the outside. Like, I don't have your view, and it's worthwhile. And I think thank you for that. That's actually exactly what it is. And then because of that, then you are going through a process of showing up differently, because it's like, you know, being very attached to, I want to be seen as like the successful, like, corporate guy.
And it goes small too. I mean, like, when I had my hair blue for like 5 years, and when I first did it, oh my gosh, it's amazing the things people will say when you're trying to show up in a different way. Simple as a hair color. But for that first month though, and it happened to be around Halloween, which made it even more weird. Because people would ask, "Oh, you must be doing that for a Halloween costume. What are you dressing up as?" I got that. Oof. Oh, what did you dress up for Halloween? Oh, it was also football season. Oh my gosh, you must be so into the Seahawks. When did you do that? Are you doing that for football season? Because why would anyone else dye all of their hair blue? So I would get these comments like that. And it was like, and then it was like this doubt of like, do I really want my hair blue? Like, what is going on? But I knew that I liked it, and I knew that it was like just the way I wanted to be expressed in that moment of time. But at the beginning, it was like a lot of doubt. And then it was like, screw that. I'm owning this blue hair. And 5 years, like, I had it for 5 years, and slowly those wore off. And then guess what it turned into? Because I was owning it, the story of, did you do that for Halloween? Or whatever, the Seahawks season turned into, oh my gosh, you look so great with blue hair. I have no idea how anyone can pull that off.
Yeah.
Right? But the same thing happens for any type of change you want to make in your life. If it's how you want to show up, if it's, I want to be known as like a kinder person, because people have only known me as being really strict, maybe a tight ass, because I used to be stressed all the time, and I'm not stressed all the time now, but people still treat me as though I am. So it's really hard for me to show up in a new way. It's like, you just like stick to your guns. But the trick though is you have to be in community with people who support you and who see you and who want you to be expressed as you want to be expressed.
Well, that's a good topic. That's a good topic for tomorrow, because we're out of time, is how we live our life inside of a story, and kind of what we're up to. And I think this is the kind of conversation that we invite y'all to. Like, there's a segment in our workshop that is very powerful for a lot of folks, is when they realize the story that they're in. That is to say, like, the language that they're up to, enrolling other people and making sure they're on the same page. Because I mean, that's how countries are formed, inside of language and agreement. And we do that inside of our own relationship. We do that when we walk out the house, is we're stating how you want to be seen. And then what you're up to is making sure people are all aligned with how you see yourself. And where the conflict occurs is when there's that discrepancy of how you're seen. And just like what I was sharing, what you were sharing is like, there's that conflict of like, I'm not a Halloween costume. I'm not a Seahawks. I mean, I'm a Seahawks fan, but like,
it'll deposit doubt until you're like, no.
Well, yeah, and it's kind of like, it's like, oh, you're just you're a sales guy, so you're always like trying to like sell me or something. And I'm like, or I just care about who you, and I can see something that could really help, but it's like that's where the conflict is, right?
Yeah.
So and that conflict is an internal heart conflict,
Mm-hmm.
but no one escapes it. I mean, countries go to war over said to be language, stories, agreements,
Mm-hmm.
and what is said to be. Like
Mm-hmm.
I say the border's here. No, I say the border's here. Okay, fine, let's fight about it. And
Yeah.
like when there is no agreement, that's where the conflict happens. It's worth noticing. But if you're really curious on kind of writing a news story for yourself, again, we invite you to the conversation. This isn't something that is a one-off. We do them all the time. If you're ready to take that step, like there's a lot of resources to do that. And we have our. Are we gonna? We're not saving these for podcasts, but we probably will eventually maybe merge them into recordings. But just there's a lot of right next steps, whether it's just reaching out to us personally, um, and we're here. We're here.
Mm-hmm. Do you have anything else?
No.
Okay.
No.